Mr. Game & Watch is one of the oldest characters in the Smash series and by far one of the most unique. He's the only two-dimensional character in the cast and also the only character that'll cook you breakfast. Let's break down Mr. Game & Watch's custom moves and determine the best loadout for competitive and casual play. Neutral Special 1 is Chef, which shoots out 5 pieces of food if you keep tapping or holding the button. You can tap it to speed up the food, but after shooting 5 you'll have to pause for a second. The food does about 4% damage and almost no knockback at all, but the frying pan however does 9% and can send recovering opponents at an awesome angle. Due to its super slow startup and ending however, Chef is really only useful at the ledge to set up into an edge guard. Judge is Game & Watch's default side special, which randomly picks a number from 1 to 9, all with different effects. You'll learn them as you play, but a few notable ones would be numbers 1 and 9 of course, as well as number 6. The 6 hammer is usually the only hammer you can kill with besides number 9, but you might find some uses of your own for the other numbers. This special move also has a bit of a slow startup and end, and you also can't be sure which hammer effect you'll get, so you have to use it sparingly. Down Special 1 is Oil Panic, which is a 2-part move. First you have to fill the bucket with energy-based projectiles, and the stronger they are, the more the bucket will fill. For example, Ness's fully charged PK Flash will fill the bucket in one shot, and a halfway charged PK Flash will fill the bucket 2/3 of the way. Once full, press down special again to unleash a super powerful oil spill. Its damage and knockback is dependent on the projectiles you absorb, but things like fully charged beams and blasts can kill enemies at 0% and break shields. Combine this move with a teammate and a projectile and you've got yourself some serious damage. Up Special 1 is Fire and shoots Game & Watch about 5 character lengths high. Afterwards he pulls out a parachute for even more horizontal recovery, or you can tap down to cancel it. You can also use any move after Game & Watch starts descending, which is extremely useful for getting out of pressure, recovering offensively, or crossing up your opponent. Just be careful not to use a move near the ledge, or else you won't be able to grab it when you come down. XXL Chef is Neutral Special 2 and it's much slower than the first, however the food is a lot bigger. Unfortunately, you don't get very much increased knockback from the extra large food, so the super slow animations aren't really worth it. Hitting with the pan will also send enemies upwards, so it loses its edgeguard appeal. It's even quite easy to avoid due to its slow speed, so it's definitely not the best choice out of the 3. Side Special 2 Extreme Judge gets rid of all of the numbers in between 1 and 9, and while that may seem like a great idea to hit 9s more often, you might find yourself throwing out 5 to 10 Judge hammers before even getting a 9. Each 1 hammer also does 5% damage to Game & Watch, and the ending lag is long enough for you to get hit before being able to shield. At low percents, the risk might be worth the reward, but keep in mind your percent will increase with each 1 hammer. Efficient Panic is Down Special 2, which fills Game & Watch's bucket with only 1 small projectile, something like a laser. However, the damage and knockback is extremely small. Even if you absorb something like a fully charged beam, the knockback will still be terrible. It's much better to just take one of the other 2 down specials and wait to fill the bucket for a quick kill or shield break. Up Special 2 is Heavy Trampoline, which does a little bit more damage and knockback than Up Special 1, but only goes about 2/3 as high. Unfortunately, even at high percents it's not a reliable kill move, so trading vertical distance for a tiny bit more knockback isn't a very good idea. Short Order Chef is his 3rd and final neutral special, which shoots a max of 3 food out at a fast speed with short range. Instead of just using it at the ledge to annoy opponents, this version of Chef can be used very effectively on stage to rack up damage and stuff your enemies' approaches. The only real downside to this move is that hitting with the pan does barely any damage or knockback. Side Special 3 is Chain Judge, which deals a combo of hits equal to the number on the hammer. The 9 hammer still has a ton of kill power, however the 1 hammer doesn't deal any damage to Game & Watch. While the low-level hammers don't have much knockback and risk getting punished, the mid and high number hammers are actually quite useful and can create follow-up opportunities. Panic Overload is Game & Watch's 3rd down special, which creates a massive oil spill which covers almost half the stage and is about 3 times the size of the normal one. The downside is that the hurt box on the bucket is much smaller than the default Oil Panic, which covers his whole body, so you really have to get the projectiles directly in the bucket to absorb them. A bigger oil spill definitely has its merits, but if you're playing teams you'll have to be careful not to hit your teammates. Game & Watch's Up Special 3 is Trampoline Launch, which sends him about 2 character lengths higher than the default Up Special, which isn't much of an increase at all, and you also don't pull out a parachute to slowly float back down. Being able to recover from very low is an extremely useful attribute and eliminates the option of being sent further out horizontally. but it also opens up the option for stage spikes, so you have to always be ready for an edge guard no matter what. However, this move has a ton of knockback, especially on startup, and can kill most characters around 70 or 80% close to the ceiling, or above 100% if you're on the ground. You can even use it out of shield for a quick punish and even a kill. Neutral Special 3, Short Order Chef. Side Special 3, Chain Judge. Down Special 1, Oil Panic. Up Special 3, Trampoline Launch. Short Order Chef actually gives Game & Watch a useful projectile in multiple situations. Instead of just using it to set up an edge guard, you can use it on stage as you would with something like lasers, turnips, bombs, etc. You can also slow down the food to mix things up and maybe bait your opponent to rush in, which is unique to this projectile since it's an optional 1, 2, or 3-part move. Chain Judge eliminates all of the Judgment Hammers you're not fond of and trades them for a true combo instead. The 1 hammer doesn't damage you and the 9 hammer is still an instant kill, but all of the hammers in between are reliable, predictable combos. The lower level hammers leave you just as vulnerable as the default Judge hammers, so trading the unique effects for a multi-hit move is a great idea. Down Special 1 gives Game & Watch a hurt box that surrounds his whole entire body. This means he can even absorb projectiles that hit him from behind, on his head, or underneath him. This move is extremely effective in teams matches, so having a bigger hurt box on the bucket and a smaller hitbox on the oil is actually a great idea. This way it's easier for your teammate to fill your bucket and harder for you to hit them with the oil. Up Special 3 gives Game & Watch a great aerial kill option, which he doesn't really have unless you get lucky with a Judge Hammer. You do lose the ability to create mix-ups with a parachute, however you can still attack out of his up special, which is great. You can also recover from crazy low distances, so don't be afraid to go deep with your edge guards. And that wraps up episode 5 of Custom Corner featuring Mr. Game & Watch. If you like this video and want to see more, just check out the playlist in the info section below. If you missed last week's video, you can jump right to it by clicking the video on your screen. And if you're not part of the Cool Kids Club already, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm GOODxJESUS, thanks for watching, and happy smashing!